Hey everyone, welcome and welcome back. I thought I would do a video on Tyler1, and I'm going to talk a little bit about my thoughts on how he's progressed so quickly and compare a couple of his games from like 3 months ago, around when like the pogchamps was happening, and compare it to right now. So as you can see right now, he's sitting at 1417. I think he got closer to 1500. Let's just see really quick what his peak was. Oh geez, yeah, 1548. So he's gotten up to 1548, which is crazy, crazy progression. But I have a couple things to say about how he has done that and how he is not the only one who has progressed extremely quickly like that. All right, so let's take a look at some of the games that he was playing 3 months ago. This is one of his videos. So game one, we don't actually see the very beginning of it, but you know, right away, I've noticed that he plays some funky openings, let's just say. So let's start it. Here, already one thing to point out. One thing to point out is he's playing d6, so I'm not exactly sure how this game came about, but d6, blocking in his dark square bishop. It's defending the pawn, but not sure if that would be the best move here.
Good, bro. After I pinned it, I didn't move. I didn't get to move once after.
And then of course we get his funny commentary. He seems like a funny dude. Okay, his bishop g4 pinning makes sense. This was so yeah. Already this is interesting because the opponent is counterattacking the b7 pawn, but willingly letting him capture his knight and double his pawn. So you know, it makes you think the opponent, white, is maybe thinking about castling long, but we'll see.
His queen.
Right, so here he just gives up a pawn. That was a free b7 pawn. And another free pawn.
Bro, I swear to God, I wish just horrible things to happen to these people.
I don't even know what he's talking about. That seems like a pretty decent move. d6 is covered, and, you know, it comes with tempo. You're kind of developing the rook to a more active file. You're hitting the c4 pawn. Although the bishop's defending it, but
like horrible.
Here he moved really quickly, and he gave up another pawn. So that's 3 free pawns. Castles.
In game right? No.
That's a nice spot for the knight. You'll notice they're both playing extremely quickly. I often point this out. You know, they're playing 10-minute rapid time control. They're playing extremely quickly.
Not in game.
I like that move too.
What's up, Dono?
Although, maybe it would have been better just to develop some other pieces. So here it could be a little bit scary, but technically he doesn't need to do anything. And
shut up.
Knight f4 is a very tempting move. I mean, just look at those pawns. Like, if you could stick a piece there and keep it there, that is an amazing position for black to have.
Gank attempt, Jack. The two kissed deeply.
Dude, bro, stripping's not worth it, man. Probably.
I like that move too.
Supposed to move my queen there, by the way.
Takes with the bishop. Okay, so let's just see what the opponent... Okay. So I'm not sure if the opponent noticed or not. Again, both of them are playing extremely quick. There's no reason to, but I myself have noticed this. I've been doing a ton of rapid games lately because I'm doing my own climb to 2000 elo, and one thing that I've noticed consistently, especially in the 10-minute pool, is that players, I mean, it's like literally people are playing like it's bullet chess, or blitz, basically. Here, there's a lot going on. I think that both opponents, both Tyler1 and his opponent, could just take a second, calculate for just a second. You got, you know, 8 minutes on the clock, and you're already headed towards an endgame here. Take a second to think. Anyways, the queen, that knight's hanging. So they chose not to take that. Either they didn't see it, or they're just really trying to go for the throat. But yeah, Neither Tyler1 nor his opponent saw that, and then his opponent gave up a free queen.
Dog queen mover!
So,
Idiots! Yeah, go ahead and resign, dumb.
so we'll look at the second game too. Okay. Looks like he's going for Roy Lopez.
I mean, their collective IQ isn't high enough for this elo, so they can't.
I don't play the Roy Lopez very much myself. It's been a long time since I have. And he chooses to take...
Think about their moves.
The opponent chooses to take with the D pawn.
That's why I don't do it. I don't like moving queen in traffic. It gives me anxiety. South Korea. It's only game. Oh!
Deserve a gangplank cue in the mouth.
Right, so, you know, one thing that, for those of you who play the Roy Lopez, you probably know, one thing to be very careful about is taking that pawn. You really have to know what you're doing. I personally am a big fan of canceling out that bishop, so it might not be the best move, but personally I might think to just play bishop e3 and, you know, look to get castled, or even just castled. But if you castle, you might also... Yeah, you might also be getting some bishop g4 or knight g4, so maybe you play h3. Taking that pawn, though, especially with the king in the center, is risky, especially because of what's going to follow. We'll see if they find it.
Developers deserve a gangplank cue in the mouth.
Shut up. Shut up, bro. Relax. It's not that serious. Let's go.
Right, so I'd have to analyze this because I don't play the Roy Lopez much anymore, but if black had gone queen d4 here, they are both hitting the knight, they're forking the knight and the f2 square threatening mate, so that would be probably the best move, but I'm not entirely sure here. Instead they go queen e7.
I made the same mistake. You did take that pawn? What do you
Tyler
mean?
1 plays f4, choosing to protect the knight that way. That's a free bishop. So yeah, as far as I can tell here, instead of playing f3, again, he's playing super quickly. Here he obviously could have grabbed the bishop for free on g4. Knight takes, queen takes, and that should be working for white, unless I'm mistaken here. But instead he plays f3. Kind of, yeah, super aggro. He plays f3. It's opening that bishop up nice and wide. The king is no longer safe castling kingside, I would say. And he's just sending those pawns down.
What was that move? I
love the classical music in the background.
I'm better than him, so...
Obviously, at this point, castling queenside, probably going to be better for white.
I misclicked shit.
Oh. Let's see what happens after this. Looks like he mouse slipped. So let's see who actually wins the game. I mean, he looks like that mouse slip probably costed him the game. But you never know. At that rating, you just never know. People blunder all the time. So
game is over.
So he loses that game. And here I took some of the most recent games against players his own rating, which is about 1400. So these are two just random games. I took a win and a loss. Let's look at one of them. So Tyler has the white pieces, and his opponent is rated 1433 with the black pieces. And I noticed that his opening is very interesting. He's consistently playing the d3, e3. Opponent looks like they're going for fianchettoed bishop, like a King's Indian. So yeah, I've noticed this like weird e3, d3, knight b3, knight g3, almost like systematically. I'm not sure if he's doing that for every game or not, but you know, he's not helping himself out of the opening because those moves already, you know, black has almost a point up for an advantage out of the opening. Opponent plays a6, so clearly they're getting ready for some queenside expansion with b5. Tyler plays bishop e2, fair enough, and here's the b5 move. clamping down on the queen side. And Tyler plays c4, which looks like he's kind of just trying to stop the opponent playing c4 himself. I don't think he really needed to. It looks like it's a good move, but the computer is recommending h3. I might think to just get castled myself, because even if they do play c4, that doesn't actually work. It's a free pawn. So although this queenside expansion is happening, you know, black has to decide what's the proper way to do it. Okay, and then they keep pushing with b4. So this is very typical, I would say, of, well, maybe not at 1400s, but just like launching those pawns, just pushing pawns. You know, look at the development here. It's not necessarily like terrible, because, you know, he's still going to have to find a way to address this queenside expansion. And if you don't know how to, that can be tricky. But this is definitely not the right way to go about it, usually, leaving all your pieces undeveloped other than these two pieces. Okay, we get bishop d2. So could be worse, you know. At least, look, Tyler1, he's got his pieces developed. He's getting ready to castle. So he is ahead in development. And for the moment, you know, there's nothing too crazy happening. This bishop could open up eventually, so he's gonna have to be careful of that. You know, up until a certain elo, I would say, those fianchettoed bishops are really nasty, because it's just, like I said, up until a certain elo, they'll often miss that, you know, discovered attack with the knight. The knight's gonna jump somewhere and open up the bishop. Tyler1 gets castled. We see knight b to d7. So black is finally getting some development here. This makes some sense. The bishop is okay here. It's defending one of the weaker pawns, but this black's light squared bishop is definitely more active, so I think he's just looking to trade off a more active piece, which, fair enough. The evaluation bar says, you know, pretty much equal. It's anyone's game here. Tyler1 plays a3. Everything up until now is pretty... I don't like the opening he played, but for the moment, everything that's happened since then seems pretty reasonable. Bishop c3. Yeah, I like that move. I think that it's canceling out black's soon to be very active dark square bishop, and it's, you know, the King's Indian fianchetto bishop. If ever you get a chance to trade off the dark square bishop for the King's Indian bishop, it's usually a pretty good decision. It's protecting that weak pawn, and it's just getting ready to perhaps trade bishops. Okay, we see e6, knight a5. Looks like he's trying to get some more trades in. He chooses to take with a bishop, which is the best move. Okay, we see queen e7, and yeah, eventually white's gonna have to be a little bit careful about these pawns. Black can start trying to go after the b pawn, which is a weakness. Okay, doubles up the rooks, fair enough, just ignores the d5. We see finally the knight moves and opens up that bishop, so knight f to d7, coming with a discovered attack on the rook. He sees it, so he moves the rook out of the way. This, I think, is just an inaccuracy because it's helping white fix the weak pawns. And I think that, yeah, d takes c4 is okay, but definitely b takes, I think, is better, because this pawn's a little bit sturdier, seeing as though it's defended twice, than this b pawn would have been, I would think. Anyways, Tyler takes back with the d pawn. We see knight e5, centralizing the knight. And then I like that move. He's going back with the bishop, just threatening to take. Okay, we see rook f to d8. Solid, taking control of the d file. Okay. And Tyler takes on e5. Seems kind of premature, and I would rather, if I were him, keep this dark squared bishop to contest black's dark squared bishop. And also this pawn was hanging, so he could have taken on a6, but there's a trade for knight and bishop. F4. Computer says is excellent. Yeah, computer says is excellent. I'm not sure I would play that myself, but forcing the bishop back. Then he takes on a6. And now black's attacking white's weakness on b3. So this is a harder move to find, but you can throw in, you know, this intermezzo move, attacking the queen, because this is a bigger threat. that being said, the queen can sometimes move to a better square. Like attacking your opponent's queen isn't always the best move. In this case, the computer is thinking it is, instead of just, the difference being if you come back and defend with your rook, well, that works and you're defending your rook, but you're now in a kind of more passive position. Whereas if you're here, now the opponent's got to move and you have a rook on the 7th rank. Little moves like that, I would say, definitely count as you get higher in rating. Okay, so then we see f5, e4. I don't know if I would be looking to break open the center. Me personally, I would be really looking to play h3 at some point, or just create some loot for my king, because these rooks are staring down at the files. Okay, we see queen h4, takes. That pawn was hanging. Queen f3 is a reasonable move, just hanging onto that pawn. And now the queen actually is kind of in an awkward spot. Rook d1 check doesn't do anything. The queen's covering that. But yeah, it's still not super comfortable, I would say, for white. And yeah, especially after bishop d4 check, that bishop is going to be pretty nasty. And then it looks like Tyler1 had to play king h1 instead of king f1. It drops the h2 pawn. This is now looking super dicey. And I would say, yeah, personally, this could have been avoided. I would not have opened up the center too much with this king. I would say the king's somewhat weak. So yeah, not sure if I would have been playing e4. I think this position kind of resulted from e4. And now, I mean, the king is just like wide out in the open. This is looking pretty bad. Okay, rook e3, and then queen c6, which is a blunder, blundering the knight. So yeah, I would say overall, funky opening, not really sure. I'll have to look at more of his games if this is like a regular thing that he does. I'm sure that it throws some opponents off. You're playing an opening that is not super common. And, but he got his pieces developed, as opposed to his opponent, who was, for the beginning of the game, mostly just kind of pushing pawns and neglecting their development. And then, yep, just sort of, I think, that e4 move really for me is what did it, really weakening his king. So yeah, but we still can see a difference between, the games in this video where he's at 1889 and this game here at 1430. Oh, no, sorry, he's at 1400 here. And then lastly, I wanted to show you guys, so because like Tyler1's whole thing is that he has progressed extremely quickly. And I'm going to show you guys why and how. It's really simple. I'll keep it simple. Take a look at how many games the dude has played. 3,900, let's just call it 4,000, okay? 3,984 games, rapid games. Obviously, you see how he's playing. I mean, those games are going really, really quickly, but the guy has played almost 4,000 rapid games. That's a lot of games. That's 10 minutes per, person. It looks like he's always playing 10 minutes. Let's just call it somewhere around 15 to 20 minutes per game, 4,000 games. I'm going to show you guys my own profile. Let's see really quick. I'm going to show you guys my own profile. I'm currently at 1739, and in total, I have played 1,114 games. A lot of those games were from when I had just opened up my chess.com profile. It was right when I was here. I was like, yeah, 700 something. And I was just spamming just like over and over and over. I myself have only played 1,114. Imagine if I had played myself 4,000 games and I took it even kind of seriously. So that's something to point out. 4,000 games. I also am going to show you guys, and I'll perhaps do a video on this later, because I have been investigating other YouTubers who are doing the same challenge that I am, trying to get to 2,000 ELO, many of which do it like in 2 years, or even 1 year, or even less than 1 year. So I'm going to show you guys here an example of someone who has excelled way faster even than, oh, what do you know, they're actually playing way faster than Tyler1. Let's watch them. So they're currently rated 1894 from the Philippines and playing 1864 Poland. Who's winning? White's winning. They are white, so they're winning. Anyways, let's go back to the profile. So the rapid is, like you saw, sitting at 1894. They have hit 2000. So the highest rating was 2000 on December 7th, 2023. Take a look at this. January 11th, 2023. This year, they were at 756. And December 7th, 2023, they hit 2000 elo. That is absolutely insane. 11 months, they went from 700 something to 2000 elo. If we study the profile a little bit, what you're going to see is, out of curiosity, how many games have they played? Nearly 6,000, let's just call it 6,000 rapid games. I don't even know if they're playing, let's just look at one of these. If they're playing 10-minute games or 15-minute games. Okay, let's just say they're probably playing a lot of 10-minute games. Seems to be the more popular choice. 6,000 games, 10 minutes each side. That's a lot of games, and that's a lot of games in the span of only 1 year. Let's look at the puzzles. So the rating is 20. It seems actually a little bit low. I don't know if they're doing puzzles on chess.com, but the puzzles actually surprises me. It looks like, if I'm understanding this correctly, they've only logged 625 rated puzzles. Their highest rating was 2452. So maybe they're doing it elsewhere. I don't know. I haven't really looked into this guy too much, but so yeah, just to show you guys, how has Tyler1 gotten so good so quickly. He's played a ton of chess. I think the video we actually just watched is, I played chess for 24 hours. Sounds like a challenge. He's played a ton of chess. Eventually, when you put in the time, you're going to see results. I give that with a little caveat, because if you're like playing just tons of like blitz chess or bullet chess, that's what I did a little bit too much of. That's why I'm probably not better myself, and why I'm trying to fix that. Both of these guys are like, we're spamming rapid games, so they have at least 10 minutes on the clock. Whether they choose to use that time or not is a different matter, because oftentimes people don't. They just play extremely quickly. But 4,000 rapid games, 6,000 rapid games in the span of 11 months. It kind of gives you your answer there. Really, I think in chess, at least in my experience, what it comes down to, I'm sure anyone who's played a decent amount knows that talent only goes so far. And there's this big illusion about like being smart and playing chess, or being super gifted and talented. Yes, some people are going to be talented. Yes, Carlsen and any other like super grandmaster, Hikaru, whoever, is probably very gifted, and has, talent plus an extreme amount of practice. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like this, feel free to hit the like and subscribe button. I think I've mentioned I'm doing a personal journey to 2000 elo, and I'm not shaving my beard until I reach 2000. So if you guys want to check that out, I'll leave the video below. Click on that, and I'll see you in the next video.